This is Kimberly Reuter, business advisor and supply chain expert, and welcome to my podcast, The Morning Mood. We are back with Tiana for another Freedom Friday episode, and today we are talking about boundaries. And yeah, a big one for both Tiana and I, both professionally and personally, as a classic helper. I
Mhm.
am.
Yeah.
It's been a
Uh-huh.
struggle. It's a
Mhm.
challenge. I am a fixer. I'm just gonna say that. Tiana, how about you?
I don't know any other way. Don't know. There's a problem. It has to solved. Be solved. We can.
I agree. I used to tell my friends like I haven't met a man I can't fix. That's not working out so well. But anyway,
Yes. Yes.
so
Oh,
yeah.
for
So
me,
boundaries. So let's
boundary.
talk about what boundaries are. So for me, I have had to learn that say that no is a complete sentence.
Even with an
It does not
exclamation point.
the explanation point, and it does not require explanation. I think that's the biggest boundary I've had to learn in life was that you can just say no. Like that's it. You can just no. I'm not doing it. What do you have to say about that, Tiana?
Is I am with you. Um, I have two no stories. One, as a child, when I watched my mother give constantly, I'm like, Mommy, you don't have to do that. You can say no. And then I
Yeah.
grew up to be like my mother. And
Yes.
but when I transitioned to retirement,
Yep.
understand like my first project, I started building a no list. It was the most freeing thing in the world. It was
I'm
like,
not doing this anymore.
I'm not doing this anymore. I can, but I choose not, and it's
Yeah.
okay.
And the world didn't collapse. I think that's one of the things too, right? Nothing, the world didn't
Yes.
collapse when you did that. I think for
Not at
me,
all.
like one of the and I wanna talk about boundaries big and small because a lot of times when we start talking about boundaries, people start thinking about big boundaries, right? Like,
Yeah.
not talking to someone or estranging yourself from someone or having kind of a big blowout about something. Like those are big boundaries. But there are also these concepts of little boundaries that
Yes.
happen every single day.
Yes.
And for me, one of the big ones was having boundaries with work because that was hard,
Mhm. Mhm.
and I think you went through it
Especially when you're
similar. Yep.
especially depending on your role,
Yeah.
right? The
Yes.
What people rely on for you can happen at any hour of the day. But
Yes.
so you've got to be able to set those parameters so that you can take care of self. And it's harder when you're single and you don't
Oh, yeah.
necessarily have the child to pick up or the dinner to cook or
Oh,
the
let's
something.
pause right there because that is a pet peeve of mine because this has happened to me a lot. I don't have kids for the, uh, single-ish, we'll just say. And one of my biggest pet peeves was around, like, the holidays, and everybody would be like, "Oh, well, you're gonna cover for Christmas, or you're gonna cover for this." No. No, 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 my time is not less valuable because I don't have children.
Come
Like,
on.
that's it. Christmas, New Year's, holidays, Easter, they all still matter. Just because I don't have
Yes.
children doesn't make that, like, that your time is more important than mine. Never.
Tell it. Tell it. Don't
Yeah. Many
that for me is
times.
constant. That is a frustration. I forgive the souls,
Yes,
but
I do.
but respectively, like we all have to have our space and
Yes.
cannot be judged for our
Yes.
current circumstance as to whether or not that should be valued or offered or accepted. period.
it let's spin on this for a minute because this is the
Mhm.
boundary of vacation of what we're talking about. I actually think this is a very, very, very important conversation to have because it is one of the things that we bump into. Now, times have changed a little bit. Like back
Mhm.
at when you and I were coming up, you got that 14 days and you had to fight for every single last hour of it. Like I
Mhm.
remember negotiating when I would be available while I was on vacation just so somebody would know that they could get a hold of me for a short period of time every day. Like, I mean, that's some bullshit. But let's talk about that because here's another thing that happens too that I've run into. Well,
What's
what are
that?
you doing on your vacation?
None of your business. It's
None of your
called
damn business.
vacation.
None of your business. I do not have to justify my vacation to you. I doesn't matter. Does not matter. I could sit on my couch. I could go to another country. It's none of your business. Boundary.
Out audacity. Or folks who knew me from high school, audacity. The audacity of someone to even
Mhm.
ask that. There's a reason that
Yeah.
you were given quote unquote time off. Not
Yep.
on, off.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
and so here's the funny
S
part, Kim. Anyone who's worked with me who may be listening, hello, folks. Um, I never took vacation. I was the worst example. Worst
Yeah.
example. But when I did, it was no that was respected time.
Yeah.
Respected time. Let her be. And I
Yes.
appreciated that. I
Yep.
appreciated that.
Yep.
And I can say, leaders out there, if you give your folks the time they need when they need it, they're
Yep.
gonna be there for you longer and be more
They will.
effective
Yep.
because you appreciated them enough to value their time.
Yep.
Just gonna
You
give you that.
respected their boundary. I mean, that's so you respected their boundary. So
Yep.
what's another work boundary, or a boundary example you wanna talk about today? Because I know we got a ton.
So one of my favorite ones was when we were at our former employer,
Mhm.
we worked around the clock because our work was grounded across many time zones, across
All of
many
them,
countries,
actually.
all over the
All the time
world,
zones.
right?
Yeah.
For me, I know that I work best at night. So
Mhm.
it was important for me that my day may not start at your 8, 9 o'clock in the morning. I didn't
Yep.
start, I didn't start 8, 9 o'clock in college. My earliest
Right.
class was 10 a.m. Like
Right.
I have so I had a leader who was like, I need you on 9 a.m. meetings. I'm like, but
Yeah.
I'm on 10 p.m.
Yep.
with my counterparts around the world. So I can't
Yep.
do the 9 a.m. I appreciate it, but I've got to say no.
Yeah.
That's my family time. My
Yep.
family doesn't live in this part of the country. It lives over here. That's my time.
Yep.
I got you. 10 a.m.
Yeah.
to 10 p.m. I got
Yep.
you.
Yeah.
But I can't do that. So I need
Yeah.
you to honor it. It became a
Yeah.
huge conflict, but I stuck my ground because I knew I'm not asking you for the world.
Right.
I'm giving
You were
all of me.
yes. Only in this time.
Read it.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's a good it's I had the mine was the opposite. So, we worked with a bunch of engineers. So your coming in at 10 worked perfectly for them because they are generally night owls. I came out of operations and supply chain, which is generally early hours because we got
Mhm.
to get up before the ports open and get things running and all that kind of stuff. So I generally was in the office, before 8 a.m. And for me, I had to enforce the other boundary because almost every day when I first started around 4:15, the engineers would start lining up outside my door because they wanna ask questions before I had to catch that ferry. Like, "No, no, 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 no. Office hours close at 3:30." Like, I'm not sitting here till 7 o'clock. at night with you guys
Right.
because you didn't come in here until 10. I've already
Yes.
been here for 2.5 hours,
Yep.
okay?
Yep.
We're gonna have to meet in the middle, okay?
Yep.
Just figure it out.
That's
So I
it.
had to enforce a boundary, which was, "Don't come in here after 3:30 with a complicated question." Like, "Don't do it. We're not gonna solve it."
That part. That part.
Mhm. Yeah.
Which is and that's okay. The piece is, it wasn't necessarily a shared practice. So when it's not a shared
Right.
practice, it becomes
It was
you're the
hard.
difficult one. You're the difficult one. Versus like, yo, let's own it. We have some crazy hours, and these are mine. Those are yours.
And these
But
are yours.
here's our
Why
sweet
was it so
spot.
hard?
Yes.
Yeah, because I was here
Yes.
early, so I don't know, but I did have to have the other thing I wanna say about this, we're talking about what boundaries are, um, and we'll talk. I don't wanna jump a I'm gonna hold it because I don't wanna jump ahead and ruin my own thing. Alright, so let's talk about why, because 'cause I've been trying to hold on to my what, why, how. Alright, so let's talk about why boundaries are important. So we kinda touched on this a little bit, right? Is that y for your own sanity in your personal life and your professional life, you have to have boundaries. You have to be able to say, "No."
But at the same time, on the flip side of that, you have to be able to say yes where you need to. So I'm gonna flip
Yes.
that. That
Yep.
that no is so that you can say yes.
Yes, that's why it's important. Because if you are so focused on doing the shit that you didn't wanna do, that
Yep.
doesn't align with your values, that
Yep.
cut into your personal time, that took away money, that any
Come
of these
on.
things that did not align with what you wanted, when you're focused on that, you're not focusing on the things that you want to.
That part.
Yeah.
And you don't want to try. I'm just gonna testify. You don't want that to be your memory of what you didn't do, what you may have lost out on, where you
Yes.
potentially didn't grow, where you maybe
Yes.
did not make a connection that you wanted to or hold on to
Yes.
because
Yes.
you didn't choose yes for those things, caught up in not understanding how to set that for yourself.
Just say, "No, I'm not taking it anymore." And it's really important. It's a hard lesson. I think it's a hard lesson for women to learn, because we are kind of programmed to help, 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 help. I'm a chronic helper. I've had people be like, "Just freaking stop with the helping. You're killing me." But it's kind of how I was raised, is be helpful. I mean, that's what you're supposed to do. So it's a lesson that I had to learn about boundaries and what is acceptable and what is not acceptable, and how to enforce that. So let's talk about that. So
Yeah.
how
Number one,
do
how do you set boundaries? How do you set
yeah,
them? So for me, number one is I'm going to take it to work, but it can be used in your personal, but it's to set
yeah,
your this is and is not. It's a basic
yeah,
list.
yep,
Is not, will do. It
not,
is
yeah,
setting that clarity and having the
yeah,
courage to lay it out front so that
yeah,
there's no misunderstanding. That's
yeah,
first and foremost. First and foremost.
yep,
Second, make sure you hit on this just a bit ago. Make sure it's grounded in your values and your
yep,
self-worth. Like
yeah,
what it is for you. What do you need? Own that piece. For
yep,
me, that was a huge part of I'm a giver. I'm a I'm a huge giver. How do I separate what I do to give and also value my worth when it comes to now
yeah,
having my own business? That's a
yep,
huge that I'm working on. So I own
yep,
it. Set Make sure
yeah,
your core values and your self-worth. And number three, I feel I say this every time we see each other is you got to take action, right? Be decisive
yeah,
and consistent. The consistency
yes,
is is the most critical because you may be decisive one week because you're fed up, but the
Yep.
next week you want to, oh, again. But you have to be consistent
Yeah.
so folks actually hold on to the fact that, oh, this is a boundary for you so that you can
Yeah.
actually do what you need to do. So those are my 3.
It's Yeah, it's not negotiable. So for me, what I would say is one of the things that I needed to accept as part of setting boundaries is that boundaries can be adjustable. They're not set in stone forever.
Come on.
Okay. So
Come on.
after example about work hours, like you
Mhm.
can say, look, man, I'm only available for 12 hours a day. That's it. That's all you're getting from 10 to 10. But you may come back later and say there's a special project. I'll work more hours or less hours or whatever it is. Boundaries are flexible. Think more fences, less walls. Because I know when
That's
I first started setting boundaries, it felt very permanent to me. And I would be like, no, but then I was like, "But what if someday I do?" Like, what is that? So they're flexible.
come on.
Um, I know. The other thing is that boundaries create safety. The classic safe word, right?
Yeah.
Boundaries create safety. When we
Yes.
know what the boundaries are, now we can run around within those boundaries and everybody feels safe. They know what is acceptable and not acceptable. When you
You
haven't
see.
set a boundary, or set boundaries, people are getting their feelings hurt, they're getting understood, it's not
Mhm.
working.
Come on.
Um, and the other thing is that boundaries are about respect, and even when you're setting a boundary, try to set it respectfully.
That part.
And a lot of times, if you're having a conversation with someone about a boundary, they're probably not getting it. And so if you've had to go there, so a lot of times just explaining to them,
Yeah.
like, hey, I understand, like you said with Big G, I understand you need me here at 8 o'clock in the morning, but you need to understand that this is my situation and this is why I do it. I've had those conversations with lots of people like, hey, I understand that you want to swing by and hang out at my house. I get that.
Yep.
But I can't come here whenever you like, and here's why. I have
Yes,
other
the
stuff going
why.
on. I have guests at my home, like da da da. Da. Like you
Mhm.
can't just swing on in here whenever you feel like it.
Yep. And that
So,
that is the why is I learned the term the compelling why. The
yes.
compelling why is a critical component to any type of almost engagement, right?
Yeah.
And it's not you're not necessarily negotiating your boundary. When you
Hmm.
have it, and it's what you need in the
Right.
moment, but it's to bring
Yeah.
others along so
Yeah.
they themselves don't feel isolated in the
Yes.
process. So,
Yeah.
yep.
And that can happen sometimes. Now, no is a complete sentence. You don't have to explain anything to anybody.
Mhm.
But my experience has been when you're gonna spring one on somebody and you haven't had one there before, sometimes they don't really understand what happened. And a lot of times it was good intent. It wasn't, they weren't trying to be a bad person. There was just a misunderstanding. So sometimes the boundaries go over a little bit easier if we have more of an empathetic conversation around it. And I did learn that one the hard way because, I was just setting down concrete barriers out of the like anvils out of the sky for a long time. And people were like, "What the fuck is this?" I'm like, "Get the fuck out. Don't talk to me." And they're like, "I don't even know what happened."
And
So
mhm.
sometimes a little conversation helps. All right.
That's that
So
impact versus intent, impact versus intent.
And sometimes that was a result of me not setting a boundary, right? Is that I
Right.
didn't set the boundary to begin with. And so we had that little encroachment and it was in. I like, no, 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 no. We got to back out. So that
Yeah.
helps. All right. So good conversation on boundaries. Anything you want to
Yes.
leave us with?
Anything to leave you with? Let's see. Restrict, but don't penalize.
Oh, drop a bomb at the end. That's true. And that's a mindset issue. Yes.
Just leave you with that little nugget. Restrict, but
Yeah, but
don't
that's a
penalize.
really yeah, yep, yep, and that is, "Hey, you crossed the line, we're putting the line back in place, move on. We don't have to beat you with the line."
Nope, not at all.
That's a
No,
great one.
just a
Awesome. Great one to
little
leave
nugget.
us with. Thank you, Tiana.
You're
That is
welcome.
another
Thank you,
Freedom
Kim.
Friday. Yep, on
For
boundaries, and we will see you guys again next week.
absolutely. Y'all have a good one.